I've been planning to do a video to help people figure out if they have a tire defect case. And I just haven't gotten around to it for the past few months. And then 2 days ago, I was reading in my local paper. I was sad to see another 2 people dying from a tread separation, and yet again in a Ford SUV. More than sad, it made me angry, and I decided I had to move quickly to do this video. The first thing that people need to look at when trying to figure out if they have a tire defect and there may be a case is really the scene needs to be documented, photographed, and evidence needs to be gathered. It really has to be done by a professional, an attorney who specializes in these kind of cases, or a certain type of investigator. Because at the scene itself, even after the traffic homicide investigation, there's likely to be pieces of evidence that weren't gathered. When a tire has the tread separate off while the vehicle's in motion, there's usually a very large piece. It's almost the entire tread. It comes all the way around the tire and it comes off. But there are always smaller pieces, and those smaller pieces are key evidence. They may not be where the vehicle ended up. They may be 10, 20, 50, hundreds of feet away. They may be hundreds of yards away from where the vehicle ends up. Someone needs to spend enough time, and someone who knows what they're looking for, at the scene, gathering up all those little pieces of tread, any one of which could be a crucial piece of evidence. Now, why is it so important to gather up all the evidence at the scene? And there's other evidence. There's the tire marks. Those are starting to disappear with rain and time passing, and other evidence at the scene that needs to be carefully documented. Why is it so important to find that stuff right away or before it disappears? Unfortunately, historically, Ford and tire manufacturers have blamed the driver. And in cases like this one that I read about in the paper in Weston, right here in my hometown, off of 75 on the on-ramp to 595, which is not the easiest place to gather evidence, but it's got to be done because in this case, the driver died, tragically. But that means he's not going to be able to defend himself when Ford and the tire manufacturer blame him. The only way he can speak, the only way he can defend himself is through the physical evidence, and so that needs to be gathered immediately before it disappears. After the physical evidence is gathered, the vehicle and the tire need to be, in any of these cases, the attorney needs to take possession of those pieces of evidence when the traffic homicide investigation is done so they don't get lost. Without those, there's no case. Then an expert, a tire engineer, needs to be inspect the tire, and there's certain specific things that they look for. Unlike other cases other types of products where I can give you specifics to look for to give you an idea whether you have a case, this one I have 2 very simple things. If the tread separated, in my mind, that's a defect. You need to go see a lawyer. It's very simple. You don't need to be looking at the DOT number on the tires or the patches or anything like that, all the other physical evidence that an expert needs to look at. If you have a tread separation, you should seek competent legal counsel. And then from there, it gets so complicated that it's not even worth me getting into the details of it. But you don't have to get there. It's very simple. Tread separates, shouldn't happen. There's a reason it happened. You need an attorney, tire engineers inspecting, trying to figure out what happened. I have handled cases involving tread separations in Ford SUVs, tires on Ford SUVs, that happened all over the world. It makes me sad to see it happening right here in Broward County. It makes me angry that it's still happening. It shouldn't be happening, and I really hope that somebody is already out there in this particular case documenting all that evidence, preserving all that evidence, defending that driver. I should have said this at the beginning. My name is John Ustall. I'm an attorney in Broward County, Florida. I handle a lot of product defect cases, automotive defect cases, tire defect cases,